Welcome to the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 show to bring you all things Club America and English.
Oh, what a strike! Club America!
Your hosts for today are Ivan Pineda, Cristian Rosendo, Alexis Juarez, and everyone's favorite cowboy, Dylan Jimenez. Goal! Now let's hit the field and start the show.
America!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Eagle Eye Podcast. We're going to be recapping that tremendous victory over Chivas in the Clasico, and then we're going to get you guys ahead into the Tour Aguila that's going to be coming due to the international break. We're going to have plenty of things to talk about, all things Club America in English, and to help me out are my co-host from New York, Christian Rosendo, and our own Cali boy, Chris Rivera. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Ivan. I'm doing good. Back on another podcast, second week in a row. It feels good. It feels good. Oh wait, people didn't see me on the last one, right? Because that was the one that got deleted.
Yeah, they didn't see you.
Yeah. Okay. So just so you, did they know about what happened?
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, they know. Okay, yeah. So I was there actually last Monday. Don't think I skimped out on the boys on Thursday. But no, I'm excited to finally back on another live podcast. Should be a great episode. We have a lot to talk about. Obviously we're feeling great after the victory on Saturday night. But I'm just looking forward to how the team can learn from this and carry it out to the end of the season.
No, 100%. I agree. And like we said, plenty to talk about in regards to that. And Chris, what are your 2 cents on all this?
Very happy, bro. I mean, I was very cranky, grumpy over American football, which I'm sure you guys noticed if you follow me on Twitter. But America completely made me happy. Just very hyped. I don't know what Christian's doing, but
I think he's pointing to his Twitter handle right there. So
yeah, go follow me.
Okay, yeah, follow him for everything Real Madrid.
Can we not bring that up right now, please?
Real Madrid. Well, gentlemen, like I said, you know, the days gone by since the win in the Clasico, but the feeling is still very well alive in a very good feeling around the Americanismo, right? It's just in these type of games, it's more than just the points ahead, even though it was a 6-pointer. You also have the bragging rights that come along with everything, and it feels good to know that America has 2 weeks of trash talking available to them because there is no other game in the league until then. So it gives people that good feeling of, you know what, you came away, got the 3 points in your house. And one more. Let's get into it, shall we? Coming into this one, Christian, we were optimistic, of course, after the showcase against Tigres, thinking that this team is capable of putting in a performance without obviously jumping to the result at the end. You know, you even called us before the game even started to kind of get a general idea or feeling on how we were coming into this game. And I know you were in kind of at 8s with me as well. You said from 1 to 10, where are you feeling at? You said I said 8. You said 8 as well. You know, to just kind of piggyback off of that and kind of give people an idea of how you were coming into this one and give us a general idea of your feeling of the Clasico before the first whistle.
Yeah, so obviously coming off the performance against Tigres, it kind of just filled me with a little bit more confidence knowing that we're able to kind of rebound from that loss against Pachuca, right? And obviously Tigres is no pushover. Granted, they are going through a rough patch right now, but they still have a great team. And for us to put such a dominating performance against them, like I said, just reaffirmed that I know what this team can do. And then you look at Chivas. Let's not make it out to be, because Chivas up to this point has had a good season. But probably one of their better seasons in a few years. So we all knew it wasn't going to be a pushover game like maybe some Clásicos in the past were. And I thought it was going to be a lot closer than what it was, you know, maybe for the first 60 minutes. But I knew that we were capable of going in there and getting the win. Did I think we were capable of doing that? Maybe not to that extent, but definitely it surprised me a little bit. But like I said, though, I think that we all saw what happened on Saturday, and it's just kind of just filled us with a little bit more of relief to know that the team can know how to bounce back and finally show their true potential.
No, 100%. And it was in these games that you would expected this team to come out and do what they did. Chris, let let's not say that the scoreline is a tell-all of this game. It's a little bit misleading. I think after America scores that first goal, Chivas really find a way to kind of dig deep and come at us. At one point, I thought they were going to equalize before this. We got our second goal. Uh, do you think the 4-2 scoreline maybe flatters us a little bit too much, or do you think it was a proper score to showcase exactly what happened in the Akron?
I think the two goals is what tells a lot about us, but I think the four goals gives us justice. That is our reality that we're very good offensively, but you look at those two goals and it's like that's our weak point throughout this whole season. That's where we started exaggerating, saying we're not going to win championship this season because of those type of goals. But mind you, like when this often clicks, this is what we score. Like it's not like on any team in this league, we could score those four goals. To me, I also felt I overrated Chivas a lot, especially after the Pachuca game that we had. I thought Pocho Guzman was gonna just do what trophies did, right, for Pachuca. But I think we also exposed them to an extent. I think they're not as good as it made it seem they were throughout the season, and I think their fans are even seeing that. Meanwhile, for us, it shows, hey, our defense doesn't have to be amazing if this offense just carries throughout the whole league. We'll see what happens, but if this offense just continues to do these type of games, I do think the mindset is now different compared to how we left that Pachuca game.
100% agree to that. I think there was a lot of things that were showcased in this game for America, and one of them obviously being that it's easy for teams to catch us with our pants down in the defense side of things. And we'll get into those goals that we conceded in a little bit, but let's talk about the game in general and how America came into this one. Repeated the lineup all in all before kickoff. It looked like it was going to be the same starting 11 that we had against Tigres. Unfortunately, Richard Sanchez had some stomach problems and wasn't able to start. And then you have Jonathan Dos Santos, who is called up, and you see that name on the starting 11. Christian, did you have that same confidence as Richard Sanchez, or did you think, I don't know if this is the right move to make here?
So obviously, Richard has been our starter from like that's our staple in the midfield, right? And just last minute to see it change, it always just fills you with a little like, a little bit of doubt. But I mean, doubt out the window in the first, I guess, 5 minutes, or maybe we'll say first 10 minutes, because Jonathan was just all over the field and he was making plays, he was making tackles, he was running everywhere on that pitch, and he really knew where he was and what type of game he was playing. And I just great things from him. 10 out of 10 performance from Jonathan Dos Santos.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I was a little bit, shocked in a good way by his performance. Of course, he really came out and balled out. I mean, sometimes he comes in as a sub and he has his moments here and there. He gives up a ball a little bit prematurely, or doesn't look like he's actually clicking into the game. But I think off the get-go, he understood what this game means, and absolutely put in a performance that I think a lot of us are even questioning whether or not he should start the next game. So it's gonna be good for him to kind of get a couple of games under his belt after this performance, with the likes of Santos and Tijuana coming up in the friendlies. So it'll be interesting to see what he performs there. And but all in all, it was good to see Jonathan Dos Santos out there and put in the shift, right? Giving you kind of a glimpse of the old Jonathan that we all knew and love, So it was a proud moment, I guess, in a sense. And you know, other than that, the starting 11 is the same as the one against Tigres, so it pretty much just gels perfectly, Chris. I think we started off on the right foot. I asked you in the preview up to this game, would America kind of sit back or take the game to Chivas? And I think we stamped our authority and we absolutely went at it. Both teams, I think, from the get go went toe to toe.
Yeah, and that surprised me personally. I thought we were gonna sit back more, be more counter attacking. But from the start, were dominated. I think we were the dominant team. I don't know how the stats look or anything like that, but from the eye test, it looked like we were just the better team from the start. Valdez almost scores off like what the second minute of the game, like right away we almost scored, and at that point I'm just like, okay, we continue this, the goal's gonna come, and well, we scored four. Just imagine we scored that one, we scored five. You know, it was a very very good. And then the subs, I don't know, like we kept on talking about the subs, but even from a sub standpoint, like Tano did a good job from that point too. Like you sub in a player, and then we're still dominant on the ball, and that's exactly what we want. We don't want to like give them the possession. We want to continue dominating from that standpoint, and I think that's exactly what we did.
But yeah, I agree. And that staple of authority would have been perfect if we would have been able to get that clean sheet, which is exactly what I wanted out of all of this. Out of the 4 goals, I wanted a clean sheet. That was the most important part to me. And we'll get to that in just a second. But it could have been easily 5, 6, 7 goals if America didn't concede those 2 goals. And I think, like George was saying right here, wish they would have scored at least 6 goals. And it could have gotten to that point. It really could have. This team has shown time and time again that they're hungry for goals. And I'm not just talking about this season, but I'm talking about last. I mean, just to kind of give you guys, uh, uh, you know, remember the game against Cruz Azul and the amazing 7-0 result, right? I mean, it goes to show that there's hunger in this attacking side, that they want to have more goals, that they push for more goals. In other times, I think you see in America that goes 2-0 up, and they're like, "All right, we'll try to coast by, get comfortable." 3-0, boom, shut it down. We got the game sealed. Uh, but you saw a consistent attacking threat, and I think that's what gave, I think, a lot of Americanistas kind of that good feeling that, all right, we got this in the bag, and we could potentially, ridicule them even more. So it's a nice feeling overall to kind of see an America side that gels so well going forward. For you, Christian, what do you think made it so that this offense, did what they did? Particularly, was there a player that stood out to you moving the ball forward, or tactically speaking?
Hmm. Perfect. I'm glad you asked this question because I kind of did want to bring it up. Just to kind of piggyback off with Chris. Chris was giving Dano credit for the subs. I also want to give him credit for getting the game extremely correct. If you guys noticed throughout the first 45 minutes where we just completely outplayed them, we kind of just overloaded that left side, and I noticed it because it seemed like Moso wasn't really going up too much because his Neto wasn't dropping back. So he was basically on one man island down there, and then you often saw Diego Valdez and Kawasita kind of 2v1. Like you saw in the second minute when Diego Valdez almost scored that goal. Diego Valdez just kind of came around. It was just 2v1. Most didn't know really what to do. He kind of just lunged in forward to Kawasita, thinking he was going to shoot. Kawasita with a great pass. And that became our first option. Same thing in their first goal. Mosso kind of just anticipated too much. Valdez with a beautiful through ball to Cabecita and the beautiful finish. So I think Tano really, really studied this kind of Chivas side correctly. But if you want to pick out a player, obviously you got to say Cabecita. I think this was probably top 3 performance from him in an America shirt all time. The man was on a mission, and honestly, he should have gotten this hat trick. It would have been cool to see, but you could just see the passion after both goals. It's just he knew what to do. He knew the assignment. He knew the shirt he was wearing on that night, and it showed. So I'm very happy for him, and I hope this form continues because we always talked about it. He gives us one game and a half, and then he goes on to this like two game stint where you really don't see him as much, and you're like, what is he doing? Like it's time to bench him, but then he just shows up out of nowhere, scores a goal, and everyone's back on the train, right? So more consistency for him, but overall, I really, really, really enjoyed his game on Saturday.
And hopefully this performance gives him a little bit of game time with the national team. I know he's been called up in Uruguay as well, so hopefully, fingers crossed, he can keep kind of that form going. And let's just face it, I mean, those 2 goals were phenomenal finishes. I mean, I know the first one, is a beauty in itself, but the second one, the composure and the way that he finishes, that is precise football. Like, that is precision at its best. And I would argue that that second goal is better than the first one, just because of the the timing was perfect. The finishing was just spot on. He's just tucks it in. I mean,
It was a good goal.
absolutely
It was a
perfect.
great goal.
Yeah, great goal at that. And it was they were trying to call it back because also Gonzalez tripped on himself, and they were trying to say that Cabecita was the one, but no,
Yeah.
Cabecita was just focused on
My
trying to
man
get
was focused.
to
He
his
said, "I
position.
need this ball now."
Yep,
And like you
hundred
said,
percent.
though, beautiful touch to kind of just put himself in position, and the way he positioned himself to shoot the ball, 10 out of 10 goal. It was great. Like I said, I really enjoyed Garavita this game.
Definitely. And talking about goals, we'll get to Henry Martins, and we'll get to this question right here. Louis says, "We okay with Henry Martins celebration?" And we'll get to that in a little bit. But overall, pretty well first half for America. Although, like I mentioned, there was moments in where I thought this Chivas offense was gonna buckle our defense. And there was moments they had a good shot that Malagon was able to save. And a couple of headers or chances here and there that went wide. But I think it's like we mentioned, this defense hasn't really gelled, and it's not the center back partnership that we all anticipated to have. And so they're working little by little, right? Of course, they're getting to that stage, but we did mention that Chivas was going to be a really good test going forward for this defense and the goalkeeper, because they were really going to try to put us in a difficult position, and they did for moments. And I think we soaked up the pressure very well, and I think our the next two goals that we get from there are counterattacks, if I'm not mistaken. So it- I think, like you mentioned, Christian, Tano played to play this game perfectly. He studied the opponent, and he knew that Chivas would eventually have to go and throw more at America, but America was quick and easy to relieve on the counter, and I think that's why you saw the opportunities that we got and the goals that we got. So, Chris, let's talk a little bit about a player that you tend to kind of praise from time to time whenever he comes up. Leo Suarez gets himself an outstanding goal, to say the least. What was your thoughts and performance on his performance?
He's just been solid, man. Since we've needed him, he's been nothing but solid, and I think that's what we expected him from the start since he arrived. For him to be this solid player. A lot of people didn't like him his first time with us. I thought he wasn't as bad as people were paying him to be. I think that loan to Santos really helped him out, and you see it like now, like that he returned. He looks way more mature. I feel like back then when he lost the ball, he wouldn't track back and try to help the Jorge at that time, right? I think, or Paul, I don't know who it was, but he wouldn't help the right back. And now I feel like he does everything. Now I do wish he was a little bit more of a dribbler. I think I wish if there's moments where you want him to just run through the fullback, but he tracks back a lot when it comes to that. But other than that, he's been nothing but solid. He scores a beautiful goal, blasts it in. Other players would have probably kicked it out, but he just bombed it, and it's exactly what you want, right? I think it's the competition between him and Sendejas is going to get very interesting, because if Sendejas has one slip up, you're going to see Leo Suarez back in there.
I would make the argument that I think Leo Suarez has cemented himself as the starter now.
It's tough because
Very
Sendejas
tough.
tiene gol, bro. And he does create a lot of plays. Like, he's more creative, in my opinion. Either way, like, you can't go wrong with either one. But I
Which is a
do
good
think
problem.
it's a good
It is a
problem to
good
have.
problem, yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, let's put this in context, right? They had a good game against Tigres, has a great game against Chivas. This international break, let's say Sendejas goes out there and plays with the U.S. men's national team, gets minutes, gets back in form. But Leo Suarez, is scoring goals in both of the games against Santos and Tijuana in the international friendlies. What then? I think that's the headache that Thanos gonna have, and of course that's a good one, right? That's what kind of the issue you want to have as a manager and as a fan looking into the club and saying, okay, we have two really good right midfielders, and that's something that I have not been able to say in such a long time. So I think I would make the argument that Leo Suarez maybe, just maybe, at the moment is inching a little bit over Sendejas just because of the injury, but I mean, now I think all the pressure is on Sendejas.
Yeah. I mean, he gets a call up to his national team, so now it's for him. Now it's like, okay, how do I go to Europe because I want to go to the World
Hmm.
Cup with this national team. If he would have chosen Mexico, maybe we have a different conversation about him going to Europe and all that. But for him, he needs to keep it up and like leave Mexico. And for us,
Yeah.
like I said it, like people were like when they were arguing about which side he was in. I said go to U.S. because America's gonna get the most money out of that. If you go to the U.S. instead of Mexico,
Yeah, Mexico. Yeah. No,
because more
100%.
teams are gonna be more interested. That's just how the market is. And as an America fan, I don't care. Give me 20 million for Sendejas. He's not worth it, but I don't care. But yeah, like it's a good problem to have. And plus, he could also make a competition against with Valdez too. So let's say Les Suarez really goes off, right? When in Valdez starts doing bad, okay, now we have Sendejas that could play that position too, and that's like I said, it's a great problem to have.
No, 100%. Someone put place Sendejas as right back.
At
Hey,
this
you
point,
never
we
know.
might have to.
At this point, we might have to because our right back situation is it is awful, and we'll get into that because the second half really showcased that. But overall, first half goes 45 minutes and 3-0 up. I mean, you're ecstatic. You're already in cloud nine. You know that this game is ours. I mean, what kind of halftime team talk do you give at that moment, Christian?
You just gotta stay calm. You gotta look at the scoreboard, just stay it's still 0-0, and you have to go out and play with the same intensity because as soon as you fall back, as soon as you have a slip up, that's when everything comes crashing down. And even after we scored the fourth goal, we were just in cruise control, and all it took was that one slip up, and it felt like kind of the game shifted a little bit, only for a little bit though, not in its entirety, but you definitely saw momentum shift. But at halftime, I think you just gotta just remain calm and obviously know where you're at, but you gotta just keep going and going because, like you said, give me the 4-0, give me the 5-0, give me the 6-0, because we were capable of it. We did against Cruz Azul. Why can't we do it here? We were given all the ingredients to do it. The opponent was knocked out already. All you had to do was just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. They had no answer. They had no answer for anything we were throwing at them, and it's almost like we invited them back in the game, literally.
And that's the frustrating part about it. And we were texting while this game was going on, and I told you guys like Lara was just frustrating me at that point because his first half performance wasn't great, but I let it slide, and I was like, okay, as long as he comes in and has a stronger second half. He ultimately got worse in the second half, from my perspective. He was just giving up the ball a little bit too prematurely, getting beat in positions where he shouldn't be. I, Something that we consistently criticize him for is he loses that marking on that right hand side, and he kind of drifts a little bit in, or he gets lost within transition. And I think that's the frustrating part about it. And on top of that, his crosses were terrible. I know we like to joke on Miguel Ayun, but my goodness, did he have a stinker out there? And I already hear people saying, "Oh, but he gave that wonderful cross for Henry after like 28 that just went terribly."
Yeah.
And I mean terribly. He was bound to get at least one right, you know? But
Who do you blame though, the student or the teacher? Because you know who his mentor is at that position.
no. Well, yeah, and I mean,
But
I
I
don't
mean,
really
like
I don't
he
want to
wasn't this bad though.
yeah, that's what I'm
He
saying. I'm like,
wasn't this bad.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it got to him. It's not the first Clasico he
He's
plays.
always been bad defensively. We're being completely honest.
I
But
feel
Is the
I,
right
I
offensively,
back
feel like he's always
position?
been
Yeah.
clumsy too. Like just the way he like runs, the way he like plays, it feels like he's just a little bit out there. You know what I mean?
Julio
Yeah.
Ibanez said on he works for TUDN, right? For
Yeah.
ESPN, right? TUDN, and he
So
said
then,
it. He said, "Look, the reason he got benched was because of discipline issues and because they value him as a center back."
which is understandable
To
because
me,
he
they were
did start at center
frustrated.
back,
That's why they were looking for that right back. This
right?
whole they couldn't find it, and they only could have signed the Mexican one, and the one that we wanted went to Barcelona, and the other one Pachuca's never gonna sell to us unless we give them a
Like
like
20 million.
yeah they're never gonna sell to us. So who else is in the market? To me, we're gonna bring in an extranjero right back this offseason. I think Roger leaves and you bring in someone from the extranjero. Maybe it's someone in Mexico that's a
Maybe it's
right
Ben
back.
White.
Maybe it's
Maybe
Ben
it's
White.
hopefully not no Arsenal players. but but yeah, I mean, I think that's gonna be our weak point going into Liguilla, right? Because you put in like you, it's the same thing. If you put in let me ask you guys this, and maybe it's not realistic, but would you prefer putting Jurgen Damm there?
No, go ahead. No,
No, I mean,
no,
I
because
haven't seen
defensively
it,
he's the
but
same
it doesn't
thing.
seem like a good idea. But I mean, the guy could probably give you 90 minutes and probably not be tired at all. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but
That's
I
the
mean,
only
who
positive
else
you
do we
get.
have there? We have academy players there, but you're
Well,
not
that's
gonna
what I'm saying though. Like, is there no good academy right back that we have right now that maybe catches an interest?
Tano needs to try them out in these two friendlies.
Right,
That's for
exactly.
sure.
Didn't we have a? Oh wait, no, that was a left
That's a
back,
left
right?
back.
There's left
That was
back.
a
We have
left back,
But
some.
right?
even
We have
right
a
back, we have some
promising
academy
left back.
players
I
that are
think
doing
two
Yeah,
good.
yeah. The
promising
one
left
that
backs
like played
actually.
an amazing game against Manchester City and
Yep.
right. Oh, that was a left back. Yeah, no, never mind. But hey,
And
that's
I
something you can also
yeah.
try out in the friendlies too, because Fuentes will most likely retire or leave this summer, and we need a backup for Salvador Reyes when he decides to not play well.
Which
Um,
sometimes you get that kind of inconsistency from him as well,
I
which
mean,
is
I don't think he's informed right now. I don't know.
no,
I don't know what you guys think, but I think he's
no.
still far from what he showed when he first got here.
Yeah, no, and I think you saw it because Chivas went a lot on his side as well. Because I think they know that right now our fullbacks are kind of our weak spot. Which I'm
Yeah.
surprised they didn't run more at Lara because that literally was our weakest position. And I thought with the integration of Alexis, that Lara was kind of have his you know day numbered, but he actually just shot himself in the foot. So that's what he was more frustrating. I mean, Midwestern Cholo asked this. What is your guys' opinion? Should Lara be benched or moved to center back? And I think we discussed it. There's no real option or real substitution but Miguel Ayun, and you don't really want to put Miguel Ayun in these upcoming games, right? They're kind of very critical and very crucial for America going into the latter end of the season. So I think right now you just kind of keep him as is, no?
I mean, yeah, for this season, you got to keep him as right back. In the off season, like Chris said, we'll be making some moves for sure. And then we'll see if he fits the center back depth chart. And but like Chris said, it all depends if we do bring in the right back. And Javier, don't even try because we've been trying for a year already. It's not gonna happen.
He's lying. We've only done like four of these. It hasn't been a year.
4 of these
But
in a
even then,
year,
you still had a
and
year to get one. You still didn't get one. So
Yeah, I need to get on that.
if we
I
start
got
a
a haircut.
GoFundMe,
You guys can't see it, but I got a haircut. So it can't even be because of that.
see, look at that.
oh, wow.
Can't show off
Wow.
now.
Well, back to America's defense crippling issues. Well, actually, no. Well, yeah. Let's stay on that topic. Then we'll get to Henry Martin's goal and celebration and all that stuff. Yeah, Lara was just frustrating at that point. You really have no alternative, so you kind of have to ride the wave. Uh, I saw an Israel Reyes that was a little shaky as well. He
Mhm.
didn't have the same performance that he did against Tigres, so that was a little worrisome. The only one I really saw that looked solid, and oddly enough, was Cáceres.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I think he had a really good game actually.
He did.
Um,
He was just lunging at everything, and
yeah.
Chivas had a couple of shots where if he's not there, stepping in the right moment, that's easily going into goal.
Yeah,
You
no,
guys weren't a
definitely.
fan of Israel Reyes?
No,
I didn't like it
Um,
when he went up, but I mean, their
uh,
strikers couldn't even go up either. So it was kind of like a equal thing when it came to that. That's why I didn't really mind how he played.
I probably give him like a 6 out of 5 out of 10, maybe 7. I'm giving Gossett like 8, 8.5. If you kind of want to just compare the two of how I saw it, at least. I still think the Reyes is still shaky to me, and it's not showing his form like he was at Puebla. Um, so I'm still waiting to see that star-studded center back that everyone was talking about, because everyone wanted him here. Now that he's here, he's not performing up to standard. But it's only the first year. It's only been the first 13 games, so I'll cut him some slack there. But I do need to start seeing a little bit more, especially like Ivan said, in these next crucial games. Leon and Monterrey are next.
yep.
So these are the ones where we really need to step up the defensive play.
And Jason brings up a good point. Cáceres and Reyes, 22 and 23 years old. Hopefully they improve for the future. And I mean, it's not a bad thing to have a couple years ahead of you, knowing that you have an opportunity to grow. So let's see. It looks like Chris has gotten a lot of fans today. Look, we got Koopa the Troopa saying, "I'm trying to see Chris's beautiful face. That's why I'm here." Uh, Chris, you got a lot
Chris,
of
the
fans.
fans are asking for you.
We'll do it next time, not
All
today.
right, guys, we're gonna start a GoFundMe for Chris to
Chris's
get a
camera.
camera. Okay, all we need is something that's 720p or more. So we'll we'll get that GoFund going, and hopefully everyone can pitch in a little bit. You know, $1 or two. That's all we ask. But I mean, overall, defensively speaking, America, whilst you know wasn't the best of games, I think we rode the wave as best as we could. And now let's get to Henry Martin, right? Because I felt like this was the game where, we were seeing all these goals going in and everything. And I was just like, Henry needs himself a goal. And well, we mentioned it on the podcast. Henry loves himself a goal in a Clasico, right? And especially recent years, has been Chivas. So you just felt that it was coming. You just didn't know exactly from where it was going to come from. And it comes off of, like we mentioned, a very decent ball from Emilio Lara and a very good finish from Henry Martin. You see him go and score that 4-0. And then, I don't know, I was watching it on Telemundo, and they kind of didn't really show the celebrations as they were happening. You only saw repeats of that. I don't know if you guys were able to catch
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
no, I had to
anything.
watch it like on like TikTok or something to see like like people at the stadium
Yeah.
recording what he did. Yeah.
It was I'm sorry, it's because George said he started OnlyFans for Chris.
Hey, bro, I got some beautiful feet. I could probably do it.
Hey, listen, there you go.
Oh man. But yeah, I seeing Henry score, you just knew that there was gonna be somewhat of a celebration. I was expecting the typical Cuauhtemoc, kind of like with the shooting,
Hmm.
but no, we got something even better, right? We got him throwing himself on the net,
Which is
and
cool.
then the most iconic celebration that I think Cuauhtemoc Blanco has, and that is the leg up at the line, the little doggy one.
Did you see
So
the picture I sent you guys, or
yeah,
the
yeah,
his next celebration is hitting Faitelson in the
yeah.
head?
That's gonna be the next one for sure. But I mean, how would you guys categorize Henry's performance in this Clasico? Because he gets a goal. I think
Assist
he had
too.
a very good, solid performance. Right? He hadn't been on the score sheet in a while, so he gets goal number 11 finally. As the captain, as the leader of the line, I saw him consistently running around up and down the
Mhm.
pitch. What do you grade Henry?
Probably eight out of 10. Like you said, I think he was running. I thought he was creating space, making the play. It was because, well, the slide tackle started the whole third goal, but it was him that kind of dribbled past like the first defender to kind of open up that space to kind of get everything in motion in the final third. Um, so yeah, 8 out of 10. I enjoyed him. Like you said, it was nice to see him back on the score sheet too, because it's been like a couple of games where he hasn't scored. So it was good to see our striker get a goal in this one.
You're not alone. George says Bomba 8 out of 10. Javier says 8.5 out of 10. I would agree. 8.5 is a good solid number. I mean, he also gets the assist for the second Cabecita goal. There's a couple of opportunities he had to break away, but the defense just caught up to him. Let's just face it, Henry's not known for being the fastest or the most paciest striker in Liga MX, but I was actually a kind of surprised with how fast he was in some of these opportunities. I was like,
You can
okay, I
tell
didn't really
the
know.
field was bad too. There's
Oh,
some
the field, the pitch was terrible.
horrible because you could tell in the beginning Henry had a one-on-one where all he has to do is just dribble, but you could tell that the field like slowed him down. I'm not quite sure exactly what it was, but it was really bad. So, and I'm sure he gets more goals too if he's just able to run normal, you know.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean, I
I give
agree
him an
with you.
8.5 too. I think because even in the Leo Suarez goal, he starts to run he's I don't know what he drank or what he's doing, but this form is crazy in my opinion. I see a lot of people get like arguments between him and Santi Jimenez and how one's in Mexico, one's in Europe, but if you look at like everything, the whole like forget the league, just like from dribbling and all that, like Henry is just on a different level in my opinion. I think if he was younger, he's not here no more. That's just my opinion. I think if he was
No,
younger, he would be in Europe already.
no, 100%. And I mean, It just goes to show, right? All that Yucatan milk he's drinking or something. I don't know what he's doing, but he's performing to standards that I think a lot of people had for him when he was younger in the league. And I think he's finally exploding. A little bit of a late bloomer, but hey, if he can be a consistent goal threat for America for the next 2, 3, 4 years, who are we to judge?
He might get extended if I'm not mistaken.
And he should. He definitely should, because at this rate, he's everything everyone wanted in him. And Ricardo saying 11 out of 10 per rating for Henry Martin just on the celebration alone. So, I mean, who's not, who's not gonna who's gonna argue with that?
You guys want to talk about the fine that they're gonna give him? Like, what are your
Uh,
thoughts on that?
okay, go evaluate. Just
So
basically,
they're
what's the
they're
fine?
gonna fine him over the celebration where he lift up his leg. They're gonna fine him, I think, 106,000 pesos, if I'm not mistaken. Which I'm not sure what it is in dollar, but I'm sure it's not. It doesn't seem like it's a lot. But either way, like, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts? You think the league is doing good? You think the league does bad in this? You think this is something that you should just ignored? You see a lot of very disrespectful celebrations all around the world. You don't really get this type of treatment. Do you think it's just Chivas being really offended and saying like, "Oh, this is going to create violence"? Like, what is your guys' thought on the fact that he's getting fined?
I think it's fine. I mean, it is what it is. If those rules were in place and you broke them, then fine, pay up. I don't think anyone's gonna bat an eye because of it. And I think even Henry said it at the end. He's like, it was well worth the yellow, and I think he's gonna be saying it was well worth the fine as well. So
Yeah, I mean, listen, people over the past years were saying how the Clasico kind of lost its juice, how it doesn't really mean much anymore. And, just another game here and there. Like, there's no flavor to it anymore. So what they did leading up to this one, I enjoyed. They kind of just added a little spice to it. People were talking on that side, we were talking on this side a little bit, and this is just part of the game. This is part of the Clasico, right? If you get offended by this, then that's on you. But this adds more to what a Clasico is, and maybe next game. That's where you guys are get your revenge or something. I don't know, but like people
no,
gotta stop
never.
whining because like we wanted this a game like this in particular or emotions like this for a while, and we finally get it, and we get it, and people are just like, they're like, oh, why are you doing this? You should be fine. That should have been a red card. You should be suspended from the league. This doesn't happen. Like let's grow up, a little bit, and let's go back to us kind of having bad blood with each other because that's what a Clasico is.
No, 100%. And it's someone put it perfectly, saying that Chivas is just being a bit of a snowflakes, and it is what it is. I mean, I a lot of people went up in arms because of the celebration, and it's like you mentioned, you wanted this. You had this whole Clasico week, right, where you guys wanted to like pit the two teams against each other, and this and that, and once the outcome comes and what you wanted happens, you start going up in arms, and it's like, oh no, there's better ways of doing stuff and this and that, and it's like at the end of the day, it's a celebration, and if anything, it's more of an like a homage to Cuauhtemoc Blanco than it is to like trying to get under your skin.
True.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's everyone's got their own take on this, but if you ask me, it's fine. Just let it be, let him play, and there's no really a reason for you to be all up in arms about it, to
Yeah,
be
for real.
honest. So, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, good performance in by Henry Martin, who is loving life right now at the moment. 11 goals, still the top league leader, and in the golden boot. And hopefully he can continue that good run of form because we're definitely gonna need him. So let's see what happens there. And then of course, America is unable to keep the clean sheet. We shoot ourselves in the foot. Lara with a terrible own goal. I honestly I had no idea what he was trying to do there. To be honest, I know
Maybe
he's trying
set
to
it
header
down
it.
for Malagon, but that's not the way
No,
to do
even
it
then,
though.
That's no.
Was there anyone in
That
his
was
vicinity? I don't think there was anyone in his vicinity
there was
either.
someone a little bit close by, not too close, but just boot it out. Boot it out. You know.
Yeah, I don't know that. Like
And
like
then
I was texting the group chat, and I was all raving. I was like, oh my god, 4-0, we're about to go for 5. Like I was on cloud 9, stuff like that. And then the Lara goal happened, and I'm like, damn, that just killed like kind of my whole mood of whatever I was feeling, because now it's like, it doesn't feel the same. And like you said, we literally let them back into the game by ourselves, and it's just like, damn, I really wanted the 5-6 nothing. Not fun.
yeah, Ricardo saying you guys are hating too much on Lara, and
Nah,
maybe we are.
I don't
And,
think it's fair criticism because it is a mistake that he does, and all game he was just he needs to just like it's just I guess he needs to work on his fundamentals. He needs to be where he's because it's not. There was another one where he headed it out like it could have gone into. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like I got nervous too. I'm like, damn, this guy like there's no one around him, and he just like doing this like fancy like headering it out type thing, and I'm just like, okay, like you need to relax. You don't have to be fancy. Like if you work on your fundamentals, you're gonna be all good. He's a very special talent. He's super fast for a defender. He has the right attitude, but he needs to get his mind straight when it comes to the fundamentals. If he works on marking, it's really all it is marking. Like that's all his his real weakness is when you watch him marking someone. Guignac gets away from him. Like Guignac at 30, what is he, 38, 37? He shouldn't be getting away from you. Even if he's like one of the best strikers in the league, you're faster than him. He shouldn't be beating you like that, right? And in this game, who was on him? Was it Piojo? No, it wasn't
yeah,
Piojo. It was who? Yeah, Piojo.
yeah, Piojo's on
Yeah,
that side.
they were getting away from him too. Alexis Vega, if he's not rusty, maybe he even starts like getting like bigger impact because of Lara. It's not necessarily hate, like I said, but he does need to get it together, and hopefully, like he plays 90 minutes in these next two friendlies because he really is a special talent. But someone needs to like tell him like, hey, bro, like all you need is this, and you'll be good. Because, like I said, he's a special talent, and last thing we want is a special talent going away. It's like Cordova, and then we're sending him off to Monterrey because it's like, come on, bro, like we got to get rid of you while there's value because you're just dropping everything.
Yeah, but hey, look, I'm not at that point. I don't think Lara's the next Cordova, and trust me, you guys know how vocal I am about our youth academy players that I don't think are stepping up. But I think it's things that he needs to work on his game and give him the benefit of the doubt. He's still very young. He's barely breaking into the team recently, and so I think there's more good stuff to come. But I think American just needs to play him in the right position. So that's all. But hey, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't want to make too much of an overkill in regards to this review, but let's just kind of wrap it up here in regards to one last thing. Luis Malagon, first Clasico, could have potentially had a clean sheet if it wasn't for his defense falling apart. Had a very good crucial save at the beginning where we were 1 up to keep us in the game and keep us in the lead. How would you gentlemen describe his performance, Chris?
Oh, I in the group chat I said what 9 out of 10.
Yeah, you
To
said 9
me,
out of
it's
10.
just the confidence, bro. That's like maybe Ivan, you won't agree with this, but I feel like he's way more confident with this defense, this bad defense, than Ochoa was. I feel like Ochoa sometimes you saw him overthink it. I'm not saying he's better than Ochoa. That's not like what I'm trying to paint, but the confidence he has is the type of goalkeeper I want, especially a young one like that. So for me, it's a 9 out of 10.
I like it, and that's a fair argument to make. I like it, Christian.
Yeah, definitely a 8 out of 10 performance from Malagon. Like you said, he just has he. It feels like he knows like where he's at in the moment he's in, and like Chris said, he just oozes confidence right now. And to come in to start your make a career against Tigres and Chivas, and to put on still good performances in each of those games, that says a lot about you, right? So really, take everything in for right now. The worst is done. You got over the debut nerves. You got over the Clasico nerves. Now it's really time to work with your defense. Find out where the kinks are, and just start ironing them out. Because, like you said, Leon, Monterrey next, Cruz Azul still to come. And then we got to get ready for Liguilla, right? So
Comes too.
keep going, and I think that we have a good goalkeeper, and I think he should be our number one from here on out.
I agree. I think he had a good, solid performance. Just attentive at everything that I saw going his way. Like you guys mentioned, that confidence is a huge, huge boost for the defense. Something that I mentioned to you guys, I don't think Oscar really kind of oozed. If anything, you felt a little bit of shakiness in the back because of him. So Malagon, honestly, great start. Of course, I want him to continue the good run of form, and it's gonna be interesting. I think we can all safely say that we would all like him to play these next two games against Santos and against Tijuana in the friendlies, just so he has more minutes under his belt with this defense. I would even dare to say give him 90 minutes in both games. You know,
Mm,
I don't think
mm,
it's gonna happen, but I would dare to say that it would be actually a good thing. So we'll have to wait and see. But overall, America walks away with 3 points. The Americanismo is content, is happy, over the moon, and just amazing to see an America performance the way that they did. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up the Clásico Nacional recap?
No, I think we've hit all the points.
Yeah, same
Definitely.
here. We're good.
Ricardo's just trying to get under my skin here, saying that he's better than Ochoa.
I won't go that far yet, but I do think from a confidence standpoint, he looks better. It's just because of the defense, like I said. Like Ochoa has always been criticized because he doesn't go out, and Malagon does that, right? And I think it's a confidence thing. Maybe Ochoa was overly confident with his defense, right? And sometimes we got scored on because of that. Uh, just not coming out, but Malagon was not hesitant with anything, and I think we needed that, especially with this defense.
Yep. Well, let's see what happens moving forward. Hopefully, it's just a prelude of better things to come. So that wraps up America versus Chivas. Like we mentioned, 3 solid points. It was a 6 pointer game. Now America sits comfortably in what, second place? I want
And
to say.
second, I don't know about comfortably, but we're in second.
What is that? Well, yeah, no, not comfortably, but after a result like this, I think you're comfortable in the sense that you're like, all right, we're in second place now. We earned this. Now it's a matter of just kind of maintaining that.
Of
So we'll
course.
see what happens. You know, it's looking a little bit difficult to knock Monterrey down from that first place
Yeah, they're
position.
like what, 8 points ahead.
Yeah, but
We
I
face him
would,
still,
yeah,
so
we face them,
But
drop some
we
points
still
there, but
gotta have them lose games, and doesn't seem like
yeah.
they're losing anytime soon.
yeah.
So, but I will say this: I would be more than happy to stay in second place, and I think Monterrey maybe can slip up in the Liguilla.
You never know, right? Anything can
You
happen.
never know. Never know, but we'll get to that discussion later
I
down
think
the
as long
road.
as we stay
Whatever.
top four, I think we're good. Second would obviously be second or first would obviously be the main
That
thing,
ideal, yeah.
but obviously anything top four though will suffice for now. But just gotta keep going. We got favorable games that I think we could handle. Just this last 2 games just kind of just reaffirmed everything that we thought about this team. Even maybe to the players, right? It's probably definitely a good morale boost after the Pachuca loss. Um, Hopefully they just talk it up as a fluke. They whatever we just weren't on that night, and keep trucking along because we're gonna have to close out the season strong.
All right, and we are now 6 out of 6 points within the next 4 matches since we've had that conversation. So it's gonna be interesting to see where we end up with our predictions, Christian. We've
Yes,
all
sir.
set around 8 points. We're already more than halfway there. Should be interesting, right? Leon, Monterrey. I'm really excited to see what this team's capable of doing,
Of course.
and we'll have to wait and see. But all right, that means international break. So our team is gonna have a quote unquote break from the league, but not from playing. America's gonna be traveling to the United States, California. They're gonna be coming to the sunny state over here. They're actually flying out tomorrow. So if anyone kind of was thinking when where they're gonna be flying into LAX, what time I'm not too sure, but they will be coming into LAX tomorrow. So they'll be flying out. They'll be practicing for the rest of the week at Dignity Health Sports Park, where they will be facing Santos Laguna on Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You guys can catch that game live on Tu DN Or if you guys are coming to the game, make sure you guys stop by and say hi. I'm gonna be down there taking a couple pictures, trying to get some interviews with some of you guys, covering the game for you guys and everything. So we're gonna give you guys exclusive content and access from the stadium. So make sure you guys stay tuned to our social media at Eagle Eye Podcast, whether that's Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you guys are following us so you guys can potentially maybe see yourselves pop up there. And also send us your pictures if you guys are gonna be there and I don't get a chance to catch you guys. Make sure you guys send us the pictures of with you guys and your family or whoever you're going with, kind of enjoying the game. I always love these kind of events because you kind of really get to see the fandom and get to see the fans show out some of the tailgating and everything. I think it's absolutely wonderful. And then after that, America will then go travel more south, and they'll be playing in San Diego. They'll be playing in San Diego against Tijuana. Should be an interesting one as well. We'll also be there. It's gonna be an early game. All right, Fan Festival starts at 11. Game starts at 2 p.m. So make sure you guys are
Yeah, that
ready
is
up
early.
and going. Yeah,
Usually
it's
get
up and
later,
early.
no?
Yeah, but it's a Sunday.
Doesn't Mexico play that day?
I believe so. And that's probably why.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys tune in. Make sure you guys, if you guys are going to the San Diego game as well, make sure you stop by, say hi. Again, would love to meet all of you guys, whoever gonna be over there. So yeah, absolutely amazing. Excited. We haven't gone and covered a game in a minute, so it's gonna be an interesting one. So what do you guys' kind of maybe ideas or reservations into the upcoming games against Santos and Tijuana? Any positives that we can get from this?
Well, we have 9 players that won't be there, so I'm trying to think which academy players we might see, which players who don't get minutes. Right, we're gonna see play more. I want to see what Tano does with this friendly. Sometimes a lot of these coaches don't really. They just play these games, right? They save the starters and the bench players sometimes, or they have the bench players play, but it's just like a whatever type situation. I really wish they Tano really uses this to use these academy players and get an idea of how he could use them in the league.
No, I 100% agree. Louis asking, is there still tickets to the game in Carson? I believe there is, yes. So make sure you guys go check them out. There should still be tickets on Ticketon. I believe it's the website that they're selling them on. But yeah, make sure you guys grab your tickets. There's still some on sale. It hasn't been sold out. So make sure you guys, grab your tickets ahead of time. And Chris, like you were saying, I think an academy player that I think we all want to see is Lozano.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think he'll
So-
see big minutes. I think Viñas is gonna have to try to get into rhythm. I think that's Thanos' mindset.
True.
But I would like
Maybe
to
it's
see one
not.
of the right backs. There's a Texas boy that I always send Dylan tweets about.
Left back. He's a left back.
Isn't he a right back?
No, he's a left back.
Oh, well,
Who you
I
talking
hope
about?
we see him, right? We see him out there.
Yeah.
I hope Karel Campos too. I hope we see him out there because I think I've seen him a little bit of videos of him. I think if he gets it right, he could be a very good first team player too. We have an academy that could be used, right? That's one of the things that I kind of question sometimes. Why don't we use them more? But hopefully Tano opens his eyes as an academy coach and says, you know what, I'm gonna use these players and try them out, and hopefully one shines out of this.
Someone put Mosumbito over, well, not someone. Ricardo put Mosumbito over Lozano. I don't know if we'll get to see him. I haven't heard much of him. I don't know what's been going on with him.
Has he been scoring in the 20s?
I don't even know
if he's even been fielding.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of Lozano's name.
Yeah.
And
Lozano's nice, bro. I like him as a prospect.
Mhm. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of his name. Also the guy from the kid from the 18s. Oh, what's his name? Juan Cantu.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
been hearing a lot of him too. Obviously, he's a little bit too raw to kind of maybe join the 20s, but interesting prospects that we have.
you know who I
going
want
on
to
here.
see us give a try in the first team? Mesemari. I know a lot of you guys might.
Bruce
familiar.
Mesemari, yes,
Yeah.
the kid from Pachuca.
Yeah, we have him in our youth academy. He was
Yes.
very promising, so I would like to see him play a bit.
Yeah, of course.
No, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Louis asking, you think Jimenez will play goalkeeper at Santos? I hope not. If he doesn't start, he definitely will come in at second half. I think the goalkeeper is going to rotate each half for these games. So expect to see a mixture of Malagon and Oscar Jimenez. So we'll see what happens there as well. But yeah, like we said, we're excited for these for these upcoming friendlies for America during the international break. If you guys are in town, make sure you guys go, check it out. I think it's fun to be able to see America play, even though you are going to get mostly the reserves because, like Chris mentioned, 9 players leaving on international break. But still a good chance to see some very good players that you maybe normally wouldn't be able to see. For
And
example,
please,
Fidalgo's
no
going to be there.
injuries during international break.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm gonna try to. Who should I go and try to bubble wrap before the game starts, guys?
I
would say
mean, I'm
Fidalgo.
talking about everyone overall, but if we're talking about the people that you can control, I mean, who's I don't know. Take your poison.
Yeah, what was the question?
Who do you like bubble wrap? Like who do you reserve? Like who are you just trying to like on the fringe for these games? You don't really take them too much into consideration if you're trying to kind of save them from any potential injuries.
Yeah, I think Fidalgo, because who do you put in once if he's not there? Like Jonah did a good job, but do you want to see like Richard in him, or do you want to see Aquino and I want to see that. Like
That's true. Make a good point.
That'll be interesting.
who else? Chava Reyes, maybe. I think you do play Chava Reyes. I think he.
Yeah, you need to give him some form.
Yeah, because he's not doing bad, but he's not doing great. It's just like whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to wait and see in that aspect. But well, anything else to add, gentlemen, before we wrap it up?
I think we're good, man. This is a great episode. I hope everyone enjoyed another live stream with us. Down to do a lot of these more in the upcoming future. This was fun, and like I said, always great chatting America with you guys.
Absolutely, Chris.
Same thing, man. Same thing. Just get ready to rest up. Get annoyed with whatever national team you go for, or don't get annoyed. Just ignore it completely and just enjoy this break that we have. And once we come back, we're gonna be complaining or celebrating about America, which I love doing for the rest of my life.
Absolutely agreed. Well, we just want to say thank you to all of you guys who came out in the live chat and to everyone that's listening right now. So thank you so much. Hope you guys are enjoying the victory over Chivas. Hopefully you guys, whoever is local here in California, Southern California, is going to be going to the games. And can't wait to continue talking more things Club America with all of you guys. And again, thank you to Christian, thank you to Chris for coming out tonight. And excited for what the future holds. So a couple of breaks. Chris has another 2 weeks to try to get a camera. We'll see whether or not he's capable of doing it. And we'll see what happens from there on out. From here, from all of us, we just want to say thank you. We'll be in touch. We'll be back to talk all things Club America in English. But until then, you guys take care. And as always, Arriba America. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was another production of the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 source for all things Club America in English. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Eagle Eye Podcast and get all the latest news and coverage. And subscribe to our podcast wherever it is you may listen.